3050 right now. So, Steven, the 3050 was announced, the RTX 3050, the other day. And yeah, did you have any, were you surprised to hear about this?
Uh, Not really. I mean, to be honest, I have not really been following CES. We were originally planning to follow stuff, and we just got too much going on. So only more recently heard of this. No, it's not surprising. I am surprised at the details of it, though. So we'll
Yeah.
go more into that. So no, I'm not surprised that we have a RTX 3050. I mean, I guess I am a bit surprised that it is an RTX 3050 because before they did do like a 1650 in the 2000 series. So because they like to have 50 cards for the more budget entry, but this is the first like actual RTX. Yeah, so I'm
50
I'm
series,
I'm
yeah.
I'm not surprised, but I'm also a bit surprised again about the more specifics and details here, which we'll go more into.
Sure. Well, let's start out with the kind of release. So this is on Nvidia's site. The GeForce RTX 3050, the ultimate play. I'm not going to read through this exactly, but it's supposed to be starting at $249 US. You can get notified here, which I did this morning, and hopefully we'll be notified if one's coming my way. But coming January 27th is when it's set to release.
Nice.
Now, this is an 8 gig card,
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
that's the part
It
that
has-
kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it's got the world's fastest GPU, Nvidia I can't even say this.
Ampere.
Architecture. It's got second gen ray tracing, Nvidia DLSS, Nvidia Reflex, game ready drivers, Nvidia encoder, Nvidia broadcast app, and Nvidia
Wow.
Studio. Du-du-du-du.
This is what's that? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I was so loud and enthusiastic about that, I could hear it back reverb through my headset. So,
You made Jensen proud. This is you just need a leather jacket on. We should have got a leather jacket for this thing. So this is what's cool. This is like the budget entry level card here, but it's still packed with the features of the full 3000 series card. Just minus that high end performance for gaming. It's still got the same feature suite here. That's what I'm excited about this card. So yeah, no, and yeah. Anyways, we can go more into that. But this is there? What do you think about the card yourself? This is at a glance.
well, okay, so the ideal person this is for is someone like my son who's already said he's interested in buying it. Because he just built a PC over Christmas, or built half a PC, I should say.
And mind you, so he has a GTX 970 currently.
Yes.
So that would be coming
but
from
he
that.
he took half his parts, like his case and everything, and reused all that power supply. But he bought a new motherboard and a 3600 AMD 3600 and 16 gigs of RAM. So he just kind of built a more upgraded kind of entry level gaming PC, and he said he's interested in this.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of who they're going after, is the everyday user, but also wants to play a little bit of games and be able to run most games. Maybe not obviously at the highest graphics levels, but at a good quality, and just have it work. So
And now your son, he also plays at 1080p, if I'm correct, right? He's a 1080p gamer.
I believe so. Yeah. So I think that's the kind of people they're going after, and as well they're I think going after, there's such a market right now, and we did that survey a few weeks back of where people are gaming, and there's such a market of people gaming on PC now. It seems like it's ever growing, and whereas a lot of people are switching from console to this, and this is going to allow people to maybe buy a PC in more of a console level pricing
Right.
to get into PC gaming. So
Yeah, this is... Yeah, especially for like 1080p gaming, the power that, if I'm correct, the power in this 3050 seems similar to like a GTX 1070. That's what I'm running right now. It runs still most games at 1080p, like
Yeah.
high to full graphics, and a lot of people don't need more than that.
Yeah.
We really don't.
Yeah.
So,
No, for sure. So there is some performance specs here. Keep in mind this is from Nvidia. So this is saying this big green bar is the 3050, and the little gray bars are the GTX 1650 and GTX 1050. So
yeah, that's not. Yeah.
let's just look at the Borderlands 3 one and just ignore everything else.
Yeah.
And then it says 0 to 80. So I don't know what this scale is actually referring to. This is a scale. So they're saying this
That's
is a
frame rate.
1080p. Oh, is it frame rate? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't see where it says that anywhere, but 1080p high game settings, i9 10900K, 32 gigs of RAM, Windows 10, RTX on is RT and DLSS quality mode. So
Yeah.
if we look at Borderlands 3 and just look at that one,
Yeah.
you are getting a fair bit of a bump.
Yeah, you do, but the last one though, it's like that's including DLSS quality mode on. So the 1650 and the 1050 are not running DLSS, which means they're actually internally running higher resolution. Like it's not really a fair. Like I don't know if this is a really good thing to compare. It's good. This is this is a feature that you get with this that's valid. But I just feel like these graphs can be a little bit, of course, skewed in favor.
For sure. Well, they're trying to sell their product, right? The new and improved. So, I mean, you are definitely going to get a boost in results for sure.
Yeah.
But they want to give you the examples that show you that sell the product too. So
they want to show 1080p high graphics above 60 FPS here. That's what they So
no, for sure. So there is some. We already kind of talked about this. It does include ray tracing, which is awesome. And there is actually an example here, as well as the DLSS, which can give you a big frame boost, which is what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
But the ray tracing, this was kind of cool. This is, if you haven't seen ray tracing, this is kind of an example of Minecraft. I can move this little toggle here, and no ray tracing on the left versus ray tracing on the right.
The little thing though is if I went into Minecraft Java version and installed all the shaders, people would probably be hard pressed to know the difference between the ray traced version and just the shader pack version.
Okay.
from a still screenshot, it's people who like, so that's where like it's like, yeah, it looks impressive, but shader packs already for Minecraft could largely, I think, look very close to that, and people wouldn't know the difference. It'd be like, which one's the shader pack, which one's the ray tracing pack. So that's what's kind of interesting with these shots. It's like, yeah, it's impressive, but
Yeah.
I don't know that it's actually anyway.
For sure. And maybe I don't need to go through all these specs, but it says it's built for live streaming. There's going to be improvements in that.
Well, that's the thing that I'm actually interested in for the 3050 is the encoder and decoder for video. It's like, this is something that I'm looking forward for video editing, and this is kind of a big deal. Is the encoder and decoder. So this might just be like, oh yeah, whatever, just one extra feature. But no, for video editing, this is actually a thing.
For sure. Well, and I think one of the next things they talk about is upping your creative game and that as well. So that's definitely a good
Part
feature
of who they're targeting.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then some of the specs. So NVIDIA CUDA cores 2560.
Yeah.
Boost clock 1.78 gigahertz, memory size 8 gigabytes, and a GDDR6.
So the fact that this has 8 gigs of RAM is actually what surprised me. I would have thought that this would have had 4 or 6 gigs at launch, and I would thought maybe 6. So 8 was what surprised me. Which is cool. I like that, but yeah.
No, it'll be definitely something to watch out for. Now, I'm going to jump over to some of these other. We wanted to talk about a couple more technical things here. We'll get into that in just a moment. So, again, this is on PC Gamer. Again, the same announcement. Did you have any thoughts on what they said on this article, Stephen?
Um,
Not so
yeah,
much.
I can't remember. They
Yeah.
sorry, I'm stop. They did show more comparisons here if you go there about how it compares to again the 1650, 1050 Ti, and 1050, and I think that's again with DLSS on.
Okay.
And again, yeah, it does give you, and that's probably 1080p high settings and stuff. It does show quite a sizable jump over those other cards. Again, you're with DLSS on, and you're gonna, it's cool. That's what's cool. And that's what I like about this card is you do get the feature suite from the 3000 series. You do get the which we'll talk about in the next article about that this is basically a stripped down 3060, which we'll get into next. You're getting that full feature suite of the bigger brother cards, just with not as much output for the shader performance. But if you're doing 1080p gaming, that's your target. I think you can get a lot of room out of this, and you might be able to touch into 1440p gaming with DLSS and make it more important. Anyways, I just think it's cool that it has the full feature suite of the bigger brother cards.
For sure. And I think at that, and again, back to the price point, 249, you can't really go wrong, especially, for what you're getting there to get you rolling in gaming. So, this is the article actually that you were talking about is on Tom's Hardware.
Yeah.
That they're using the GA106. No, using the GA106.
The 106. It's so sick.
Yeah. Silicon. Am I right in saying that? For the RTX 3050.
Yeah. So this is cool. And this is what I mean that it's actually like a 3060. They took a 3060 and stripped it down. That's a good thing. The mobile versions of the 3050s and the laptops and stuff are not the same silicon. They're not actually the same board as like the 3060. So the mobile like laptop 3050s are not the same. So this desktop one is the same as the 3060, which means all the features you have the 3060 you got in this guy. It just has basically has a lower memory interface. So instead of being 192-bit memory interface, it's 128-bit. So there's slower memory bandwidth, and there's less CUDA cores. But other than that, top tier performance for like high resolution gaming and stuff, it's a stripped down 3060, which is just cool to see. And so this article here from Tom's Hardware, they were thinking that was a bad idea because they thought that this is a more expensive process to build these. And they were arguing that it would have been better for them to use a more cheaper process to get more out there. But I'm going to disagree. I think NVIDIA's made a good move here. This makes it appealing to me because they did this. And they may still have a 1650 equivalent coming out anyway that's stripped down. They may have one last card they'll bring out.
Like a 3050 Ti or something?
No, like I don't know what they would call it, but pretty much this generation's 1050 Ti, a card you can plug in with no external power. So because this one apparently requires an 8-pin power connector.
Okay.
And I think they will come out with one that at least requires only a 6-pin power connector and has a bit of a lower power draw and will be, but without the RTX and the DLSS. But like this generation's like 1050 Ti, which this is not.
Yeah.
This is still above that.
Yeah.
So I think there's still room for NVIDIA to do that, and I think this card actually makes sense. And
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. And all these articles that we're showing you can find in the descriptions to check them out for yourself. Did you have more to say on that end of things, or?
No, overall, I at first thought this would be like not a great option, maybe, but looking at it, they have me on board because I've wanted to get like looking at the 3060. And it's been hard to find those, and I think I'd be willing to even just get one of these instead of even a 3060 to replace my 1070. I wouldn't get, as is, I wouldn't get much of a difference in gaming performance from my 1070 to this, but it would give me the feature suite of the 3000 series. So now I can use DLSS if I want. Now I got the modern decoder. Now I can use NVIDIA Broadcast for all these different features. Yeah. So as a whole, because they left the feature suite intact of the more expensive cards, I think they've made a good move here.
Yeah,
so.
No, for sure. So One other thing that's kind of happened this last week because of CES was some competition came around as well. And let me pop this up here. So at CES this year, they announced the AMD Radeon RX 6500 XT
Yes.
at $199. So a second graphics card sub $250. And I say sub $250 because who knows if you'll ever find them for that price. But there is some competition coming. And what are your thoughts on this one? Not that our whole show is not about this, but in comparison, did you have a chance to look at these specs or?
Yeah, a bit. So in this article here from, I think it was Tom's, or no, PC Gamer.
PC Gamer.
They were saying that this even looks weaker than the one from like 2 or 3 years ago, the 5500 XT on paper.
Okay.
But it's using like the more modern RDNA 2 stuff, so it's not the same. And it's got like Infinity, it's got the caching stuff, and so it's an interesting card. It looks like it's close into the performance of like an RX 480, an RX 580.
Okay.
Which I think a lot of people are running. Like I have an RX 580 from AMD, and it's a pretty decent card. Again, for 1080p, you can do a lot of gaming, high quality settings, and I this is a card that I want to see real world testing on. I really want to see people comparing it in reality. How does it do? So again, for 1080p gaming, medium high settings, this could be a really valid option if you can find one. But part of me really wants to see real world testing before I make any opinion on this card.
For sure. Now, that being said, I think you were looking at some comparisons between the 3050 and other cards. From what you saw proposed, how is it supposed to compare to some of the other cards? Like you were saying, I believe when we were chatting last night, you were saying it should be similar to in performance to like a 1070, but of course that doesn't have the ray tracing, but performance wise.
Yeah, it seems to be close in line to like a GTX 1070, maybe the original 2060. I'm not sure. But if you're pushing like, so say if you have like an older GTX 980, it could be similar. The GTX 1070, maybe base 20 or 1660 or something like that. So it's not bad. It has quite a bit of performance to it. You can definitely do some gaming on it.
No, for sure. We do have a couple of kind of comments that I'd like to get to as well. So Kamen says hopefully people can buy one before they're hard to find, and I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to buy my 3060 from someone, a reseller at their house. I did get the receipt, but it was definitely paid a premium for that. And hopefully these don't get bought up and the same thing happens with what's happening right now. So I know I asked you one day, I saw Best Buy was getting them in the town that you live in, and I asked you to go see if you could go pick one up for me, and the lineup was around the whole Best Buy. So just to get like a 3060. So you're like, yeah, nope.
and I was like sick that day too, and I'm like, I don't think people are gonna appreciate me being sick right now, standing around them in line. I was like,
I appreciate your efforts, Stephen. I would agree. Hopefully these don't just get bought up by people reselling them and bots and everything like that. So Wonderland Music is saying 1660 Super or 3050, which is best?
Oh no 1660 or 3050 is best. Or are you asking which is best? I don't know.
That's a good question. 1660, I took it as 1660 Super or 3050, which is best, but maybe I misread that. If you're still there, Wonderland Music, maybe you can clarify.
I think.
Yeah.
The super. I think you're gonna get more performance at a glance here. How come it's not showing? I think they're gonna be similar. I don't know. I think they seem very close. If I had to pick between one, I would go with the 3050. Because the 1660 Super just doesn't give you those other options, like the DLSS and the ray tracing. So let's say that you wanted to do 1440p gaming. Now you can turn DLSS on, and then you can just get that enhanced. Like, you have those options where raw performance, I think the 1660 Super and 3050 are going to be similar, like raw, like if you just do everything the same. But then with the 3050, you just got more options to play with when you want them. So I would go for the 3050.
Yeah, no.
Of course, if you need a GPU and there's a 1660 Super available and you can get it, sure, pick it up. But if you have it both as an option, I would go for the 3050.
Yeah. So, I think that's kind of all we have for questions. So we're gonna wind down our main show right now, and then we're gonna stick around for coffee afterwards. So we appreciate all of you showing up today, and don't forget that when we hit 100 subscribers, we are gonna upgrade to 1080p streaming. And the good news is my upload bandwidth just got increased yesterday, so we're happy about that. So appreciate you joining us today and chatting about the RTX 3050. Remember to like and subscribe and listen to our podcasts. So take care.